Well, I believed that
the point needs to be made that Pizzagate is now in many ways worse than the things Stanley Kubrick tried to bring to our attention in his movie Eyes Wide Shut. Because at least in Eyes Wide Shut, what was being shown was essentially satanic sex magic rituals that involved adults. If this message that Joe Biggs just read is accurate, then we're talking about adults preying on and potentially murdering children. I'm going to reread the last part of the message that Joe read. This month, we have 5 fresh pizzas for your enjoyment. We also have 4 surviving pizzas from last month's session. All are on sale at an extremely low price as they are in poor health and not expected to survive. A requirement is that you finish eating your pizza after your session. I think this refers to killing the children, the ones that are in poor health, that are purchased at the discount. Now, for those of you that are...
Stanley Kubrick was murdered after he released Eyes Wide Shut. He was told by the Illuminati to cut a scene of the movie. I think it was the mansion scene with all the ritual abuse. Look, we can talk about the crimes all day long. Like Alex Jones does. But it's not going to change anything. I mean, it's nice to wake everybody up, and that's what Alex Jones is doing if he's not in cahoots. If I'm wrong about him, sometimes I think he's not in cahoots, sometimes I think he is. I don't know. I don't know. I watched a show for 4 years, and while I'm watching the show and learning about the Illuminati, the gang stalkers next door to me in these condos went from 2 to like 30 people. Now, the only way gang stalking can be allowed to flourish, and no one ever goes to prison, you never hear stories on the news about it, anyone getting arrested, any homes being invaded for organized crime, and that tells us right there that these are not foreigners with billions of dollars infiltrating American citizens. These are not the Hells Angels. These are not the KKK. Black Lives Matter. This tells us that gang stalking itself is being financed and operated by the U.S. military and the CIA. Now, we need a military, that's for sure. We don't really need a CIA. I don't think we do. Maybe a small little office in Alaska. If we don't, as truthers, get out there and warn the people and wake the sheeple up, this plague is only going to grow and spread until it gets to the point where there is no way to warn anybody about anything. The entire FBI, CIA needs to be revamped. Everyone working there is either a criminal or incompetent. One or the other. They're either a criminal or they're incompetent. The only way these criminals can operate is if you have two things: criminals or incompetence. Criminals are idiots. That's what it takes for these gang stalkers to get away with what they're doing. Criminals are idiots. Those are the two groups of people that make up the FBI, the CIA, and the black programs inside of the military. Now the military is a lot bigger, and I believe there's about 70 to 80% good folks. I signed up military men many times doing door-to-door sales, and they're good people. It's regular people. I met thousands and thousands and thousands of military people when I used to go to doors as a salesman. But I'll tell you something, after the war, many of them are crying. 2002, 2000, was it 2003, 2004? 2004. It was 2004. I came back from Vegas, and I just remember standing up different people and knocking on doors, and there were just military men that were devastated. They saw some horrible stuff. A war that was definitely had nothing to do with 911. Again, there's two types of people running our government: criminals and idiots. That's it. If we do not send a neutral team of investigators in, representing we the people, if we don't analyze the criminal behavior that's going on, our American society, which is on its last legs, is going to topple over. It's going to be the end of us. We need to get a neutral team in there. They need to have access to everything, all the files, and they need to take an evaluation of what's been going on in the government. We need to slowly start shifting people out and sending regular people in. A police department wouldn't work with military in cahoots with gang stalking unless they were criminals. Unless they were already involved in murders, property theft, embezzlements. I mean, let's try to imagine this. You're supposed to be a police officer, and you got a badge, and you're protecting people, and you believe in the Constitution. You swore an oath to it. And the CIA approaches you and say, yeah, we're going to start spying on American citizens illegally. We're going to start shooting them with micro weapons. We're going to murder a few of them. Are you down for this program? Yes or no? And the police officer said yes. Because these are the criminals of the criminals that are running these black programs, and for any part of the government to deny they exist or be unaware, they're either criminals themselves or they're idiots. And the only way we're going to have any kind of peace in America and stop all this craziness of invading countries and taking people's property and people's homes away from them illegally, and the gang stalking criminal behavior, is to send a neutral team in, investigate, and start cleaning house. That's it. That's it. If we do not do that, we are fucked.
Night Chat 2019. 19 episodes coming soon. Coming soon.